Firefox versus Safari, which is the better browser for you? Each browsers have strengths and weaknesses. In the event you're a Mac consumer, two of probably the most highly effective internet browsers can be found to you, Apple Safari and Mozilla Firefox. Each are freed from cost, and every has distinct benefits. We in contrast teach that will help you determine which internet browser gives you the perfect internet expertise. These options have been examined on Safari 13 and Firefox 67 in macOS Catalina, however are usually relevant to all latest variations throughout macOS and home Windows desktop platforms. General findings. Built-in with most macOS applications and units. Sooner web page loading. Firefox. Extra extensions obtainable than Safari. Open source platform. Accessible on extra working programs, together with home Windows and macOS. The Apple Safari browser, now a key piece of macOS, is seamlessly built in into some core Apple purposes, together with Apple Mail and Photos. This is likely one of the benefits of Apple having in its personal browser. Mozilla Firefox is a well-liked variant to Safari. Though it will not be as quick, the distinction is not sufficient to low-cost Firefox as your browser of alternative. Though Safari's velocity and integration with the working system might give it a leg up at first look, Firefox has some interesting options. Availability. Safari is primarily an Apple factor. Developed primarily for Apple units. Additionally obtainable for home Windows. Firefox. Accessible for macOS, iOS, iPadOS, Android, home Windows, and Linux. As a result of Safari is Apple's proprietary internet browser, it primarily exists on Apple merchandise. It comes pre-installed on Macs, iPads, and iPhones. You possibly can obtain it for home Windows machines, however it does not have an official launch for Android telephones. Firefox was not initially obtainable on iOS devices, however it's now obtainable within the app retailer for iPhone and iPad. It is also obtainable for Android and Linux, so should you use a number of platforms, Firefox works with all of them. Web page load velocity. Safari is sooner. 1.4 instances quicker web page loading than Firefox. Firefox. Slower web page loading than Safari. The builders at Apple didn't rush the planning of the Safari infrastructure. This consideration turns into obvious if you first launch the applying and see how shortly the primary window and residential web page load. Apple has publicly benchmarked Safari as having HTML web page load speeds at 1.4 instances that of its Firefox counterpart. Add-ons. Firefox affords extra extensions. Smaller choice of extensions. Constructed in parental controls. Firefox. Hundreds of extensions from third-party builders. Parental controls. Together with all the options anticipated in a contemporary browser, comparable to tabbed browsing and privateness settings, Safari presents extra performance. Safari options parental management settings which are simple to customize, permitting you to facilitate a child-safe setting. In different browsers, these controls usually are not simply configurable and normally require third-party downloads. In the event you use Safari on a Mac, parental controls are set within the Settings menu underneath Display Screen Time. Apple exerts the identical management over Safari because it does over its different software program, so it is not open source like Firefox. Nevertheless, it does provide a piece in its app retailer that permits builders to create plugins and add-ons to complement the looking expertise. Like Safari, Firefox gives a platform that permits builders to create highly effective add-ons and extensions. Firefox's choice is way higher than Safari's, and builders have added a wealth of latest performance to the browser. Last verdict, it is all about choice and availability. These browsers have many comparable options, in addition to some distinctive capabilities. When selecting between the two, listed here are some elements to think about. In the event you use Apple Mail as your electronic mail consumer and need to carry out a number of electronic mail duties from the browser, Safari could also be your best option. If you wish to use Automator for on a regular basis looking duties, Safari could also be best for you. In the event you search websites comparable to eBay, Solutions.com, and Amazon typically, Firefox might make extra sense as your main browser. In the event you wish to reap the benefits of add-ons and extensions to customize and supercharge your browser, give Firefox a strive. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe. Don't forget to share.